I see Gangster responded to the Tent Wall Fat video.
Oh yeah. I respected that too. He said that it was kind of disrespectful for me to call Timwall Fat a D boy. But he had more information and he had more dealings with Timwall Fat than me. So I gotta respect that. He made the call, you feel me? And he told stories about them being in LTI and shit like that. See, I didn't know that. From my point of view of meeting Fat, I thought Fat was just like, a young that just showed up, you feel me? But they had prior experience and they had been to jail together and shit like that. So that's why he came in like he came in. But from my tails end of knowing him, it was he out the tent wall and he came in on the strength of the DBs. You feel me?
Bro, and he was like I don't want to say hanging with him, but they was together a lot. Were
Oh
they?
yeah, it was they hung together and he just was in the circle and whatever moves they was making, he was making with them at the time. You feel me?
So yeah, so I can see why it was easy for you to feel like and
Yeah,
say that
yeah. But
you considered.
he went into stories and everything about them being in jail together. So in actuality, he was older than all of us. So I understand it. I respected his call.
I rhyme, blind by this and that. Now them people trying to leave or reject my dog fat. I'm with your nigga, camouflage with the hard head. A solid nigga to the pussy, what you call that?
When you would see Fat out there just hanging like nothing heavy going on, they're just cooling. Did he like play around with them sometimes, or was he always serious?
Oh man, he always did play around. Like he the type that for one instance when I told you that he faked like he was gonna rob the dice game and he made everybody lay it down that was out there, you feel me? And then he was like, messing with them, like, oh y'all niggas pussy, y'all just laid it down and was willing to hand over their money, you feel me? Some niggas, you feel me? I ain't gonna say all, but he basically upped the strap at the dice game and was like, man, y'all give it up. And after everybody was, the people that was giving it up, he waited till after they gave it up, and then he started busting out laughing. I'm like, man, these the scary right here. You feel me? And just had jokes on like that. You feel me?
Say Lee, when you and I first got jammed, right? When we started hanging out and got tight, right? I came to the Magnolia, hang out with you that day.
Getting touched for free nowadays.
I do it, man.
You see what I'm saying? You got troopers out here. They ain't got troopers out here trying to get strikes.
It appeared to me that you was a Dooney boy, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Um,
Or they just embraced you like that?
they just embraced me because that was my hood from scratch. You feel me? And plus, everybody we all like we kin to each other from Timid, from Stupid, from Johnny Boo, from Kenny Boo to Shorty Mike, like, and 411 was my neighbor. You feel me? Because Gangster stayed on the left side of me, and then I stayed on the second floor in the next building, and my actual next door neighbor was 411. You feel me? So it was kind of like hard, even when the situations with the going on and people having disagreements with OGs that come before us. You feel me?
Say, bro, how many Dooney boys would you say they were, if you
Um,
could say?
I would say about 15 to 20. 15 to 20. You feel me?
What was it? Was it organized to where they had soldiers, they had leaders, hustlers, or was it just kind of like they were all just like
It was
gremlins and shit? Just,
organized. We all, they all moved on one band, one sound. You feel me? It was never like, oh, he in charge, this one in charge. It was like everybody had their own different shift. You feel me? Like, some people will work the morning, some people will work night. You feel me? And some people will work like, just to watch out and shit like that. You feel me?
so you say it worked, right? Because one of the first things come to mind when you hear these Dooney boy stories, you think straight gangster. You might think jacking, shootouts, and shit. So they was actually getting money.
Yeah, they was actually getting money. Yeah, that was the whole thing was about. The whole thing was about making sure everybody looked good. You feel me? It wasn't never like, oh, this only one person eating. You feel me? Like when you say like Dooney Boys, you got to think about people like Ski Boo. Ski Boo was actually, you know, on the I would say on the same level as Dooney. You feel me? And Ski Boo not even that type of person where he would put someone up under him. He was always would want you to shine the same as him. He would always look out. You feel me?
And Ski Boo was a Dooney boy, right?
I wouldn't call Ski Boo a Dooney boy because Ski Boo was like always been a stand up, on his own. You feel me? He always stood up on his own, and he was equal level to Dooney. He wasn't a Dooney boy. He was
But
his
he was cool with them.
he was part of the crew, but he was ski boo. You feel me? He always been a stand up person, like bro. He ain't never been like one to follow. He always have been a leader. You feel me?
Yeah, and that's how everybody speak on him when they speak on us. That's certain respect on his name. Say, bro, when you hear the name Dooney Boys, when you hear the name Dooney Boys, right? What comes to mind?
Um,
Well, the first thing comes to mind.
First thing coming to mind is strong young hustlers. You feel me? Because I would consider one of my best friends, Tuna, a Dooney boy. You feel me? And Tuna basically got his whole swag and everything after he met Dooney. You feel me? He started learning about Versace and Ferragamos and just upscale luxury clothing and shit like that. Because Dooney was big on Versace shit and shit like that. Like prior to that, we was Jordan and Nike and shit like that. You feel me? And L Mac house. But when Dooney started, coming and hanging, he was more on the Saks Fifth era. You feel me? Like the Versace silk shirts and Ferragamos and shit like that. Like we ain't know nothing about that till he started stepping out on that type of level. You feel me? And plus, me coming up for when it got to Coogee and shit like that. We also looked at other people from different hoods too, like this guy named Cali Your Eyes. Like, man, this man would come to a second line and just be sharp from head to toe. You feel me? And even though he was from a different hood, we looked at him and be like, boy, that boy got that shit on. You feel me?
Show them that stuff. You understand?
All that. 520 at the top for these thing right here. You got 4 at the top and none at the bottom. It's real like that.
Who was Johnny Boo back then at that time?
Yeah, Johnny Boo was outside. You feel me? Like you had Tuna, you had Kenny Boo, you had Shorty Mike, you had let me see, you had Elvin, you had Canelvin, Kelvin. Kelvin basically, he was a Dooney boy too, you feel me? But Slim kind of like made it like intertwined to. It's almost like when Dooney got killed. It was like almost like everybody just went up under Slim. You feel me? Because Slim trying to come in on that end of filling in for Dooney when Dooney got killed. You feel me? Slim went to coming to the hood. He ain't never not come to the hood, but he was just like a little more active of trying to keep hustling. You feel me? And even when Slim came to the hood, Slim came to the hood on some bully shit too. Like, man, y'all can't hustle on this end either, you feel me? And we had 2 of our OGs and they wound up fighting, you feel me? Him and Hall, they wound up having a fight over the whole set, you feel me?
Say, bro, could you say Slim kind of took over the Dooney Boys once Dooney died?
Yeah, Slim basically stepped in and it's funny because I remember this here day when I think Slim was like putting the pressure on, like, nobody couldn't sell the heroin on the block but him. If it wasn't for him, he was like, you can't serve it on that end, you feel me? And so, one of the other OGs, he was like, man, motherfucker, man, you feel me? Ain't no nigga coming through here and talking that shit like that. And Slim had his cousin back there, which was 12 o'clock, right? So somebody relayed the message and was like, man, Slim not out there. 12 o'clock out there. And the OG, he passed away at this time. So the OG heard that and was like, who out there? There was like 12 o'clock out there. That nigga say, man, I don't give a fuck. I'll turn him into 6 o'clock. You feel me? And everybody just like, what? You're crazy. So, they come down. They come down. They came out the driveway. You heard me? They wind up catching Slim like at a bad moment where Slim wasn't strapped that day. You feel me? And so they came out with, they came out prepared. You feel me? They were so prepared to the Slim turned around and was like, "Ooh wee!" when he saw the K cutters. You feel me? So Slim went to thinking fast. Slim was like, "Man, look, man, we from the same hood. We just might as well go ahead and scrap it out." So we thinking, you thinking like these 2 older cats, they about to scrap it out for a minute. You feel me? They about to be some hard man. These mans went to fighting for like 1 minute, and both of them was out of breath. So they wound up just hugging each other, and both breathing. How about they Slim pull out a pack of cigarettes and they wind them smoking on the porch and laughing about the whole thing after that. You feel me?
Right. Yeah, you gotta have some balls to tell a nigga you can't hustle in this area like he bought the area or something, huh? Like,
Man, you know, Slim always was on the T-rep tip. You feel me? Slim always felt like, I gotta put my law down first. You feel me? If anybody knows Slim, they know Dirty gonna always talk, that son of your talk. You feel me? He gonna try to send you in some type of way. You feel me?
I heard a lot of say Slim gonna hit you with that penitentiary shit, try to run that game on you.
Oh, facts. Slim one of the best. I could say Slim know how to manipulate you into doing some shit to not make you feel bad about doing it. You feel me?
Ain't nothing changed with Slim. It's still the same nigga. Still got the same attitude.
You already know I'm coming up.
It ain't nothing but a bunch of Slims out here.
I'm trying to put in my mind how these are Dooney's boys. So how'd that respect transfer, bro, from Dooney to Slim that easily?
Cause Slim always been a big dog in the neighborhood. Slim, believe it or not, Slim always inherited everything Magnolia. You feel me? Like even if you had a situation that popped off with somebody and they wasn't from the hood, Slim would step in and be like, "You got that." You feel me? Behind closed doors, Slim would be like, most OGs like that I come up under. If something happened to you, they sit back and watch before they try to help you to see what type of person you is. You feel me? Before they lend a hand or give you some type of guidance. You feel me? Because when shit happen to you bad, that's when it shows your character, what type of person you is. You feel me?
They flipping off us, we flipping off them. Yeah. They flipping off us, we flipping off them. It's uncut right here. We in my house, nigga. Hear him? I'm exposing this shit. It's my shit, man. Homie, fuck them.
Man, Slim have always been hard-headed. And Slim has always been confrontational. You feel me? From even with, I got an OG from out my neighborhood named Stuff. You feel me? Him and Stuff, I would feel like every Friday or Saturday, they the same height. They the same height. If Stuff not taller than him, but them two always clash. You feel me? Every time they have a disagreement, they just go to swinging. Them boys start fighting. And then later on that day, it be back the same thing. They gonna last like 8 hours, and then him and Slim gonna fight again later on that night. You feel me?
I know y'all know Stupid already. Stupid is
y'all already know I carry the biggest gun bigger than 411. Y'all already know I rock.
Ain't no real out here, you know what I'm saying? Me and my cut-through committee, you know what I'm saying? We be riding all day, cutthroat, you know, cut-through, dog to the bone, bro.
B Stoop was a Dooney boy. When you think of B Stoop, you think of Soulja Slim. You don't think of Dooney, you actually think of Soulja Slim.
Yeah, that's right.
Probably because Stoop held Slim down so hard too, you know?
Yeah, folks, anybody from our neighborhood gonna hold Slim down. Slim almost could he could smooth shit over with anybody in the neighborhood. You feel me? Even with you could tell what type of person Slim was, what type of power he had, because even with Cutthroat, you had Chaotic over there from front of town of the Cali, you had Bub, you had Danny, and all of them, and we all hung together like it wasn't no hood when it come to Slim. You feel me? We all became a family. You feel me? From Chaotic to Derek to Wacko to it never was no type of neighborhood shit come up whenever Slim around.
Slim had that effect on the city. Say, I think because Slim was going to jail and meeting niggas from everywhere and shit. Yeah. Probably not. That personality was just like that.
I would say that too, because you got Slim with songs mentioning Sean Smith, dudes from downtown and shit like that, which I wouldn't even know who that is if Slim wouldn't have mentioned him. So just off of Slim mentioning him, like, man, that's a solid. You feel me? That automatically branches me to him as paying him respect off of somebody who come before me giving a hand out to him. You feel me? Like, bro, that's a real dude. You feel me? And that's how it translate in the city. Because they ain't just make one gangster. You feel me? They made gangsters all over. You feel me?
Say, Lee, I'm gonna tell you who we don't talk about enough, bro. 6 Shot.
Facts, yeah.
Don't you know 6 Shot gave me the name Video Wayne?
Oh, that's crazy, man. I never do that. 6 Shot is actually one of the people once I went to doing music and I've learning how to do music with BG Derek and shit like that. 6 was actually one of the persons I picked up my style from in metaphors and put me on to up north music like Mobb Deep and Jada Kiss and shit like that. You feel me?
Say, what's up with him right now? What's up with Six?
Oh man, Six in the City. He doing his thing. You heard me? That, you know, I can call him anytime. You feel me? I know Six whole family, man. Six is actually like my real uncle. You feel me? Six done lived in the same house with me at my grandmother's house. I done been to his house. His uncle, you know, my uncle Walt, which is his brother, who was in a wheelchair, and his sister. You know, I basically know his family. That's how I became. I was tweaking as a youngster trying to get a cigar burned on my own because they had their own crew called SBOGT, and it was on Quadil. It was on Cat and Shadi, and you know, just their whole crew. They had a crew called SBOGT, which came from Hype Enough, and you know, all us was over there at Hype Enough, from Turk to Kelly and Reg from the Cartels, and you know.
I'm gonna say rest in peace, Soulja Slim. You know, man, that nigga been through a whole lot, bro. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about thugging, drugging, everything.
At Soulja Slim's second line, Six Shot said, "I miss my dog, man, from thugging to drugging and all that, right?" And then I heard some stories about Six, which I would have never thought, I would have never guessed this, but the stories I heard put Six Shot out there like he was that guy, like, you know, they didn't call him Six Shot for nothing, basically.
Yeah, facts. He was that guy. You feel me? And shout out to Six Shot. Shout out to my OG Ike too. You feel me? And OG stuff.
So Six Shot was actually on the street at one point, like really.
Yeah, Six Shot is the street. Six Shot was Willow and Washington. All of them hung on Willow and Washington. Slim hung on Willow and Washington, which, you know, after Giggity went to jail and Dooney situation happened, Slim hung both closer to Willow and Washington. And that's where Be Stupid stayed at, on the corner of Willow and Washington. What's happening is Magnolia Levee, at Magnolia Levee. You know where to follow me at on all platforms, at Magnolia Levee, MagnoliaLevee. Let's go!